So we're going to talk about milk, and not just any kind, the boob kind. Hi, I'm Gateri, and welcome to Lautinopika. So you've woken up, your boobs are full of milk. You feel as if you're carrying stones. It happens, moms, I know you can relate. So from the title of the video, Teacher Gateri is in session. Let's be seated. Anyway, I'm going to talk about breast milk 101. We're going to handle expressing or pumping. I'll use those words interchangeably. Storage of breast milk and the handling of the breast milk. I'll keep looking down. My notes are down here. So starting with expressing. So you're a new mom and you've decided, on top of breastfeeding my baby, I want to express. There are many reasons as to why one would want to express. Maybe you want to store for when you go back to work after maternity leave. Perhaps you feel that your supply is quite high and you don't want it to reduce, so you keep the demand going and you want to store your milk. Another thing is that perhaps you want someone else to feed the baby so that you can take a nap. Yes, mothers deserve naps too. Anyway, regardless of the decision you've decided, regardless of the reason for your pumping, there are many ways for you to pump the milk. So the three different categories are: you can hand express, you can use a pump. So the pump can either be a manual pump or an electric pump. So we'll start with hand expressing. Hand expressing, just as the name suggests, you just use your hands. So no need for power, no extra utensils or equipment. You just need to ensure your hands are clean and you have a clean storage container to express into. So that's the advantage of hands, no need for all that jazz. The other thing is manual pumps. Now manual pumps, as the name suggests, it's manual. So I wish I had one here to show you. There's the way they are made, you build suction with your hands and it doesn't use electricity. And then there's the electric pumps. So from the name, it uses electricity. Others, when there's no electricity, they have a place for putting batteries, which is a good thing. And now, it being 2019, honestly, the array of pumps are from here to Timbuktu. As in, there are others that are even wearable. You just put it in your bra and you can go about your day typing out your report or catching up on something as you're busy pumping. So yes, so you've decided, you've gotten the tool, you've chosen your tool. Let's say you decided to go with an electric breast pump. So yeah, I've decided I'm going to pump. Now, I want to build my milk supply. So what can I do to build my milk supply? So if you're from Kenya like me, and you know how our mothers come carrying bags and bags full of njahe and bone soup and porridge, because these are the foods that they were given by their mothers and their mothers before, as in it's just passed down. And there are beliefs that the foods help in increasing milk supply. So when I was researching for this video, I did find that there are specific foods that have been scientifically proven to actually increase milk supply, because they are rich in nutrients that increase lactation. It has an interesting word. Let me try saying it. Galactagogues, whatever. Anyway, I don't know the right pronunciation. But anyway, the foods that help increase the breast milk supply, one is oats. So oats, you can either take them as regular oats, you make them porridge, you can decide to make them in cookies. So you can bake your oats, you can make granola, so to make them exciting. So oats is one of the foods. Another one is fenugreek seeds. So this one, you can put it in your teas. It's not the best tasting of teas, but trust me, it does a lot when it comes to increasing milk supply. What I usually do with mine is I sweeten it with honey. It makes it more palatable, and I've grown to look past the taste and yeah, think about the benefits. Among other things, apparently spinach was also listed as one of the food that has been proven to help increase milk supply. Another thing is brewer's yeast. Now this one can be used in, you can add it to your smoothies, to your cookies. It helps in increasing milk supply. Now the only downside of some of these things here, like brewer's yeast, I wanted to buy and make cookies. I found a pack like this was going for over 2,000 shillings. Then I thought, hey, wait a minute, that's a lot of money. Anyway, so those are many things. So one of the things that easily accessible, the oats, as I've said, the fenugreek seeds, you can get them from the local supermarkets, and just make a simple tea, sweeten it with honey, sip on it while it's warm, and boom, milk supply. So yes, we built up our milk supply. Now I'm at work. I've gone back to work and I want to express. As I was researching, I realized, I don't know, moms, you will identify with me, that sometimes when you think about your baby, it triggers like milk to be produced. Like TMI, like right now I'm feeling it. Anyway, so there's this, I was reading, it's called when you want to trigger the milk ejection reflex. So you're away from home, you want to pump, and you want to trigger that reflex that will tell the brain that, yeah, we need to make milk. So there are many ways to trigger that reflex. One of it is using your mind, and this is where you think about your baby. Yeah, so when you think about your baby, it will help in triggering the milk supply and, yeah, the production of milk. Another one is sight. Have a photo of your baby with you. So looking at the photo of the baby, that helps. Hearing, maybe having a video of your baby cooing, laughing. Listen to the video, it will help to trigger the milk supply. Another thing is even smell. Yeah, carry your baby's blankie or a piece of cloth so that you can be able to smell the baby. My husband usually says he wishes he can bottle the smell of babies because he loves it so much. So perfume makers, there's some market for baby smell. And the other one is also touch. You can use a warm cloth and just help to like dab your breasts to help just release the milk, as in to trigger that reflex. So, and finally, taste. Sip on something warm. I found that warm fluids help in also triggering the milk. So yeah, now we have triggered the milk. Our supply is at optimum. Now let's talk about storage of breast milk. So there are like two ways you can store your breast milk. You can store it in milk storage bags. I have one here. Milk storage bags. So the pro of this one is, you see the size? When you put the milk, you can be able to put it in the freezer and freeze it laying flat. So meaning it takes up very minimal space in your freezer. The con is that these things are not reusable. So it's for single use only. So once it's used, you toss it in the bin. So that's the disadvantage for this one. Then the other one, you can use a milk storage container. This one's are specialized for milk. Even the bags are specialized for milk. Don't just get a Ziploc bag or something. Get bags that are written for breast milk storage. For the containers, ensure they are BPA free, so you can use this. So the disadvantage of this is it will take up more space in the freezer, but the advantage is it's totally reusable. So yeah, so that's how you store the milk. So now you found the place, you found the medium in which you'll store your expressed breast milk. You've decided on one of the two I have shown you here. So the next thing is, now you've expressed. The key thing is to ensure that you label the milk. And the reason why you label the milk is that when you start to give the baby the milk that was frozen fast, stored fast, is the one that will be given fast. So fast in, fast out, FIFO. So when you're labeling, you label the date, even the time, because you'll find maybe in a day you've expressed like 2 or 3 times. So the date and the time that you're storing the milk. You can even put the amount of milk stored. Usually it's an approximate amount, so ensure all that has been written. So there are various ways. When it comes to storing, you can store the milk in the fridge, in the freezer, in a deep freezer. You can even store it room temp, but depending on which method, how you've chosen to store the milk will last, as in depending on the method you've chosen, there is a timeline in which the milk is fresh or can be used. So if it's room temp, you'll find it's between maybe 6 to 8 hours, and this room temp could be maybe not more than 23 degrees. So it depends. I'll leave a link that will show, I'll put the timings in the description bar of how long maybe your milk needs to be in the fridge, needs to be in the deep freezer, to deem it that it still can be given to the baby. And also when you're storing the milk, it's usually advisable, don't store it in on the doors of the fridge, because that's where the fridge is less cold. And also if you're using your freezer for other foods, you can choose to put other foods down and then the milk on top, so that nothing sort of thaws and goes to your milk. So that's also one thing to think about. So yes, so now we've expressed, we've built our milk supply, we've stored our milk. Now you want to give the baby the milk. So what happens? There are different ways of warming the milk. First, you can use a food warmer, and second, you can take a container, put warm water, and then dip whatever storage that had the milk, whether it's the bag, whether it's the storage container, so you let it thaw. And then another thing that I usually try now that I'm back at work is the night before, I remove the milk from the freezer, I put it in the fridge so that it can slowly thaw for it to be used the following day. So one thing you just need to know is that you should not microwave breast milk, because you do not want to create hot spots. You know, sometimes the way you warm food in the microwave, and then one part is extremely hot, another part is so cold, you do not want that. So never microwave breast milk. Another thing is, don't put it in a sufuria and boil it. So yes, that's that when it comes to breast milk. And there's something I forgot to mention when I was talking about pumping. There are good times to pump. When is the best time to pump? I found that first thing in the morning when you wake up, that's when like milk supply is at its highest. So it's best to pump at that time. You can also pump in between breastfeeding time. So maybe you breastfed your baby at 7 a.m. Wait till maybe around 7:30, 7:45, you can pump again. Sometimes when maybe the baby was asleep, I haven't pumped, and then he wakes up, I can be nursing him on one boob and expressing on the other. Yes, multitasking on a whole new level, as in just doing anything to build the supply, to build the storage of milk, the store of milk. Yes, I'm just rambling now. I wanted to mention something about hind milk and fore milk, and this one you can clearly see when you're expressing from a full boob. Like the first milk you'll express will be very light in color, very thin, sort of, as in very clear. I'll insert a clip of milk that I'd expressed and you can see the difference. So there's the fore milk, the hind milk. Well, that's usually the fore milk. For the first milk, it's usually more watery and it helps in quenching the baby's thirst. And then as you continue expressing, you'll notice the color deepens. Now the milk is more white. So that's the hind milk. So that's more richer in nutrients. So now it fills the baby with nutrients. So that's why even when you're breastfeeding the baby, you're usually advised to ensure that when you're nursing the baby, they nurse from one boob until all the milk is over, so that the baby can be able to get the quenching fore milk and the nutritious hind milk. So just ensure you do that. And others even suggest, for example, if you're feeding within right now and then 30 minutes later you feed, you start with the other boob so that the baby can get the hind milk from it. So yes, point to note. So yes, so there are many things. And then once your milk is thawed, completely thawed, you're supposed to use it up within 24 hours before it goes bad. And then there's something else you need to note. Thawed breast milk sometimes tends to separate, and so that does not mean the milk has gone bad. As long as it had been stored well, you just swirl it around to get it reconstituted, and the milk is good to go. I've read that the milk can taste a bit soapy. It can taste a bit soapy, but that's because of some chemical called lipase in the milk. So it's not something bad unless it smells as if it's gone bad, which you know, that's when you discard the milk. And in conclusion, what I would like to say is that when you're handling all these processes, from expressing to storing to handling breast milk, proper sanitation and hygiene is key, because this is something that's going to be taken by a small baby. So ensure whoever is handling the baby's utensils, whoever is feeding the baby, even you as a mom, when you're expressing, ensure that you've washed your hands with soap and water, that your hands are clean, and so that you do not pass any the milk is not contaminated in any shape or form. And there's one more thing just before I finish the video, is when you're washing the baby's utensils, maybe it's the breast pump, maybe it's the feeding bottles, the storage containers, you need to sterilize the utensils. So this you can sterilize either by boiling the utensils. So this is why your milk storage containers should be BPA free, because anything with BPA will seep into whatever liquid, will seep out of the container. So ensure the milk storage containers and the feeding bottles are BPA free, so that you can boil like our mothers used to do. Another thing is that you can buy sterilization tablets or sterilization liquid. Usually it has instructions. You'll first wash your utensils. After you wash them clean, you let them soak in water that has the sterilization tablet or liquid for the set amount of time, and then after that your utensils are good to use, and that water can sterilize utensils for the next 24 hours. So after 24 hours you switch up the water. Other things I've seen, there's also an electric sterilization kit, so you can also use that. So anytime, and note, the sterilization is happening after you've washed utensils. You don't just put the dirty utensils there. You wash the utensils, make sure they're clean, then you put them to sterilize using whichever method that you've chosen. So yes, that's it about breast milk, expressing, handling, and storing. In case you have any questions, do leave them in the comment section below. If there's something that I may have missed out on, let me know. Let's keep this conversation going. Otherwise, to the mothers out there who've chosen to pump, I know sometimes it can be hard, especially if you're back at work, because maybe getting even time, the space to express from. But if you've chosen to do, all the best, you're going to nail it. And from me, Gatway, just want to